All right, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered abroad. All right, this is Brother Barazal here with a lesson, and the Lord wanted us edified. All right, so the title of this lesson will be "The Work of the Lord Comes First." All right, because with the whole thing that's going on with the, Shepherds of Berea camp and, just certain men, not willing to, put the work of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai over, doing the work or doing work in the world, Salakia. All right, which, this truth is supposed to be, our main focus. This truth comes with, sacrifices, denying yourself, and ultimately, putting, the work of the Lord first. All right. So this is the book of Matthew 16 and 24. It says, "Then said Yahushua to his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." So there you go. All right. You're supposed to deny ourselves. All right. Of, worldly pleasures, things of the world, carnal desires. All right. And, put Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua first, doing the work of the Lord. All right. It shouldn't be, just a thought in your mind to want to, take a break, for 3 to 4 weeks, months, whatever, because you got to, get your stuff in order or, whatever it is. All right. Which, brothers have jobs, brothers have, kids, families, responsibilities. All right. But, you got to be able to, manage your time wisely. All right. Put out your videos. All right. Go to camp. All right. Because this is the number one focus. All right. The truth, salvation, pushing this word forth. All right. Verse 25, "For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. And whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it." So there you go. All right. So we don't have a life on this side. The only life that we have is, being service of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, pushing forth lessons, pushing forth shows. All right. Rehearsing the righteous acts. All right. It shouldn't be no reason for you to put, the truth on the back burner. All right. And a lot of these guys who, it shows a lack of faith. All right. You put in, your job first. It's going into inflation, the bills, all this and the third. And, hey, you got to have faith, because brothers, every time a brother's been put in a bad situation, that didn't mean, you don't see these brothers just completely putting off doing shows and videos, or I got to get my thing together and all this. Nah, they were still doing videos, even during the hard times. And every time the Lord provided. All right. So these guys have a lack of faith. Imagine when the MOTB rolls around, it's going to be guys like that that's going to end up taking the C here because they got to feed themselves, feed their families. All right. Proverbs 30:8, "Move far from me vanity of lies, give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me." All right, so there you go. We're supposed to have just enough to where, we can go out and do the work. All right, take care of what bills you got to take care of, just enough. We ain't just supposed to have, be like millionaires, have all these things in abundance on this side. We're supposed to detach, from this place. All right. Have just enough or a little bit more, right? Just so we can do the work of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. All right. Because that's the main focus. Romans 12:1, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. So this is our reasonable service, presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice, going out, even when you may not, feel like putting out a lesson or, whatever the case may be, you still do it. And when you put out that lesson, the Spirit hops on you. All right. So this ain't about, what you want to do, in the world. All right. This is simply about the work of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. All right. That's what this truth is all about. And you got to understand what you're involved in. And it comes to a point where, if you want to focus on, the world, then just go back into the world. All right. But, if you call yourself a man of the Lord, all right, you have these certain requirements, certain characteristics you got to have. You got to be hot in this thing. All right. You don't just put out lessons whenever you feel like it, whenever you want to. All right. Whenever it's, oh, man, yeah, I don't know, man. I just worked a 10-hour shift, man. And, I ain't, you got to still do the work. All right. As it says, it's our reasonable service. So it's the least we can do. Us going off, being in the world, all right, doing things contrary to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, all right, it's our reasonable service, to sacrifice for the Lord, all right. Second Esdras 14:14, let go from thee mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. So there you go. All right. Let go of the, oh man, but I gotta make this amount of money, and I gotta put the truth on the side so I can focus on, building a life on this side. Man, this place is about to be destroyed, man. We don't have another 1,000 years in this place, another hundreds of years in this place. All right. This place is going down, man. All right. And we supposed to be taking advantage of this grace period the best we can. We want to make sure that we're doing all that we can. All right. So, when all hell break loose, we're not looking back and, oh man, I should have went to camp this day. I should have did more lessons. I should have, did this. I should have did that. All right. We're supposed to be fully taking advantage of the grace period that the Lord has given us. All right. To, Lord willing, making our call and election sure. The scripture's going to working out your own salvation through fear and trembling. All right. So this is what's required of us. All right. It ain't optional. All right, consistency. All right. So this is the book of Revelation 3:15. It says, I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot. So then because thou art lukewarm, and neither cold nor hot, will I spew thee out of my mouth. So there you go. You got to be hot. You can't be cold, or you can't be lukewarm. All right, it's not just, you're not just doing whatever the hell you want to do. All right, you got to stay hot. All right, be consistent. All right, keeping the work of the Lord first. All right, and show that you have some faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man. All right. Just because, a brother's going through hard times don't mean that the Lord is dealing with you. It's all a part of, the journey. It's all a part of being in the truth. Brothers have, every brother's gone through hard times, financially, mentally, all right, physically, all right, whatever the case may be, but that didn't give an excuse. That's not an excuse to not do the work. You see? But, I think that'll do it with the lesson, brothers. Keep the work first of the Lord, and the Lord will provide. All right, but with that, I'd like to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Hashem Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.